Ah, can't stand it. I know you planned it. I'ma set the straight this Watergate. Hello and welcome to the next episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, the podcast where Matt and Todd watch a Netflix top 10 movie and then we discuss it over the internet and you hear our product and hopefully you like it. I am Todd Domer, not Tom.
Thank you, Tom Domer.
Yeah.
I am Matt Malloy, and yes, welcome to another episode. Today we'll be talking about the movie, an older film from 2012 called Savages.
Savages.
And how did your intro song tie into this movie, Todd?
Well, the intro song was sabotaged by the Beastie Boys,
Uh-huh.
and this movie has plenty of sabotage going on
Okay.
between different cartels and people switching sides and stuff.
Yes, true.
So,
And they both start with S.
also true. I didn't even think of that one.
Sabotage and Savages. It's a good theme. Well, we watched this movie. Todd, you had seen it before, and
I had, yes.
some parts of it felt familiar to me. I feel like maybe I saw bits and pieces of it somewhere, but not the whole thing. So it's got a ton of people in it. One of the main stars, and kind of the overall narrator of the movie, is played by Blake Lively.
Uh-huh.
And then you have her two bros, not really bros, Chon and Ben. Taylor Kitsch has been in some stuff. He plays Chon.
Texas Forever.
Yeah.
Texas Forever.
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights.
And I don't know what Aaron Taylor Johnson has been in.
But he was Quicksilver in Avengers Age of Ultron.
Well, there you have it.
It's probably his, I don't know, I guess his biggest role.
Right. I'm not putting him on the famous list then.
Oh, take that,
redacted.
Taylor. Yeah.
But we've also got your Benicio del Toro, your John Travolta is in this, and Salma Hayek also.
Salma Hayek.
So that was my list. Who did I miss?
I don't really. I guess there's a guy, Emil Hirsch, is in it. He has a kind of a small part.
Oh yeah.
He was Speed Racer, the Speed Racer movie, and The Girl Next Door. There's one that I can't think about that I really hate him in. Well, because I hate the movie, period. Into the Wild, I think it was called.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, I hated him in that, and I think I hate him in real life because he's got some pretty crazy allegations against him. Like, the most famous one that I know about is he, I think he walked into a boardroom and just started to smack and punch a woman producer. Like, was just drunk off of his behind and did some bad things.
Wow.
So, not a fan of that.
Well, I don't think he's really famous then.
Yeah, he's blacklisted from my life.
Punished from our famous list. Well, cool. So, you got all these people in it. You got a pretty big cast of characters going on, and a lot happens in this movie. I'll try and tell you most of what happens without spoiling things. So you've got these two guys, Chon and Ben. Chon, C-H-O-N.
Mm-hmm.
And they are in a polyamorous relationship with Ophelia. She goes by O. That's Blake Lively's character. And they are also the head of their own independent marijuana distribution organization, I guess.
Yes.
And they are very good at it because Chan has smuggled some of the best marijuana seeds from his time in Afghanistan as a Navy SEAL, and they've used them and experimented with them. And Ben is a botanist by trade, so he's used that skill to make the marijuana super awesome.
Yeah. I think they say something like the THC is at 33% or something like that.
Yes, they
When
do say that.
regular pot is at like, I don't know, 5%, I think they said. Something not very high.
Yes.
So,
Well, I don't know about all that, but they do say those things in the movie.
yeah, I'm just reporting what the movie told me.
Correct. Okay, so they have this thruple, triple person relationship,
Yes.
and things are going along good, except for then the Baja cartel starts coming on the scene, headed up by Selma Hayek. Selma Hayek's
Yes.
character. What is her name? Rihanna? I think that's right.
I don't know.
Yes. No, Elena. Elena.
Oh, yes, Elena. Yeah.
Okay, so she comes on the scene and she makes demands and she's like, "Hey, we're gonna go into partnership and you're gonna make a lot of money, and you're gonna give me some of it, and it's all gonna work out, and you're gonna do this." And the guys decide that they're gonna say no to this, and they're gonna skip town and kind of hide out for a while. So they're all unscheduled to do this until their lover, Ophelia, is kidnapped by the Baja cartel. And so then they go and do everything they can to get her back. They go ahead and say they're going to work with the Baja cartel, and they do some operations to get some money, and they offer straight up money for to get O back.
Yeah.
But when that doesn't work out real well, they find out that Selma Hayek's character, uh, Elena's daughter, is living in the United States, and so then they figure that out and they kidnap her as a pawn, as a trading chip to get back Ophelia. And
Yes.
so that's kind of how the movie ends up. Is they work to make this exchange.
Yeah, yeah. It all boils down to the exchange.
Right. And I'm sort of glossing over. There's a lot of like there's a lot of backstabbing and people switching
Yes.
sides. There's John Travolta's character is like a DEA agent who's playing both sides of it, and then
Yeah.
Benicio del Toro is like the right hand man of Elena. His name's Lotto, and
Yeah.
he ends up sort of playing three different sides of things, and
Yes.
so there's a lot of twists and turns that I won't describe for you, but the main plot is these guys want to get Ophelia back, and they are willing to do almost anything to do it. So that's kind of how that all turns out. What did you think of this movie, Todd?
Well, um, what I thought about it at the time and what I think about it now are still pretty much in line with is that this is an overcomplicated movie for no reason. Like it just like the story of this movie is it starts with something going wrong and you're like, "Oh, okay, like let's follow this." And then it's just like so many different things from different sides keep being thrown into the mix and you're just like at least for me, I was like, this is too much. Like, this story is too much. There's too many different moving parts. It's not even doing a good job of the story it's trying to tell, in my opinion. But then they just throw curveballs in all through the movie just to throw curveballs. Like they don't really serve much of a point, and um, it. I mean, I guess the acting is okay. I don't think anyone is stellar in this movie. Um, I will say I'll use a word like serviceable. The acting is very serviceable in this movie. Benicio del Toro plays a super weird character, which he does every time he acts. He just plays a weird character, and the young white people are fine. Selma Hayek's fine. John Travolta, fine. Like I don't really feel like anyone really brought anything special, but it's all like it's not horrible, but it's not good either. It's just kind of it's just there. It's there. So, and I'm gonna compare this movie to The Turning, if people have ever seen that movie. And it is just something I hate that happens in movies sometimes. It's not overly used, but it's so stupid to me when it's used. It all boils down to this exchange for Selma Hayek's daughter for O. And then it plays out the exchange and all this kind of stuff. And then it's coming to the absolute climax and finish of that. And then it just goes back and it's like, well, that's not really what really happened. Here's what really happened. And it's just so dumb to me. It's so dumb when movies do that. I hated it in The Turning. I hate it in this movie. It's not like either movie was doing so well and then it just tanked it through the ending, but still, like, if they didn't do that, I might have given this movie a little bit better rating. It's still not going to get a really good one for me, but it's just all kind of not good. I found myself bored, even though I couldn't truly remember what happened in the movie. I just felt myself not caring. Too many things were being thrown at me that didn't make sense for me to stick along with the movie. So, unless you're a huge fan of like any of the people in this movie, or if you're a huge fan of like Blake Lively or something, I think this is a skippable movie. Like it's not even like it had really great action sequences either. It gets super dark in places. There's plenty of head trauma, and if you're listening, there's plenty of decapitations, and it just it's like it's just way too much. It's all way too much, and yeah, not the biggest fan. I say skip it. That's where I'm landing. Don't waste your time on this movie unless you just feel like you have to watch this movie for whatever reason you're going to create in your mind. Then I feel bad for you that you're going to watch it. Matt?
Yeah.
How did
Well,
you feel about this movie?
so this is an Oliver Stone movie. He directed
Yes.
this, and it's based on a book. And did you know, Todd, that Uma Thurman acted in this movie, but her scenes were all cut?
Who is she supposed to be?
She played O's mother,
Ah.
who
O's mother is referenced quite a lot in this movie.
she's alluded to but never shown, and apparently she was supposed to be shown, but that never made it to the theatrical release, at least.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have saved it at all.
No, I don't think so.
It would have been one more thing that they thrown in that I was like, what are we doing? There's
Yeah.
just too much happening.
Well, I have a little bit different take than you have, Todd.
Uh-oh.
I kind of enjoyed myself watching this movie. I thought
Interesting.
it was a fine, not a great movie, but a fine movie, a fine thriller kind of. What's gonna happen? Who's gonna betray who in the end? And and you know, is Ophelia going to get back to her boys? And
Her boys.
you're right. There is a whole lot of contrived plot that happens, but you know, it it plays its part. It fills its role. It fills its time. Um, anyway, I didn't hate the movie. I thought that the song that plays when the Mexican cartel calls is awesome. When they call
Was
on the
that the?
computer.
I I don't think it's the song. It's not the Psycho Killer song, is it?
No, no.
Oh, because
Every
that has
time,
that. It has my favorite version of Psycho Killer in this movie, where it's like a soft coffee house
yes.
take on the Psycho Killer song, which is very entertaining. I mean, I'll give it props for that. That they pulled this obscure song from a coffee house like list playlist.
No, there's this song that plays. The cartel calls Ben and Sean on their computer all the time.
Right.
And there's this little song that plays that means that they're being called. It's like
Yes.
anyway, that song does it for me, Todd. I love it. It's gonna earn
Amazing.
mega points in my rating just for having that song. Um,
Now I know if
yeah,
I'm ever gonna make a movie, how to win you over.
that's right. And so you don't like the rewinding at the end of the movie and having another ending?
No, I
How
don't.
did
It's
you
such a stupid curve.
how did you feel about Project A, Todd?
Well, that's different because it's our movie that we made and it's good. It's not a Hollywood movie.
It's true.
I so I can get behind the idea of that take in movies. Like if something happens and everyone thinks this is the way it happened, but then like they get more information and it's not. Like, but both both this movie and The Turning, it's used in a way of just a swerve for no reason. Like it's not like, yeah. I mean, I can't really talk about it without going. Dude, it just serves no purpose. Absolutely no purpose. Like you get to this conclusion, and then O's words, which she's the narrator, are literally, but that's not what happened.
Right.
Like it's like, well, then why did we go down this road? Like I don't understand why this had to happen.
Yeah, it's true. Um, and and it's really the only role it serves is you're right to show an alternate possible ending where certain things happen, and then they show the real ending where those things didn't happen anymore. So
Well, it always makes me think that is that the original ending, and they started to show the movie to people, and people were like, not a fan of this. Like they got such a negative reaction to it that they were like, let's refilm a different ending, but let's just keep this one in just to be all like, I don't know, crazy.
well, maybe we have to read the novel by Don Winslow to find out the answer.
I mean, that might be a Wikipedia search in my future, but
Mm,
I'm certainly not going to read the book.
well, fine, Todd. Fine. Don't read
Yeah,
it.
no, I won't. Now, if we had a sponsor that did books, then maybe I would read it, but we don't anymore. So
If Don Winslow was our sponsor,
yeah,
then we'd
then
read it.
Don, I'd be all over it.
Right. Well, like I say, not a great movie, but I did enjoy it, and I thought it was serviceable. I'll use that
Mm,
term as well. Thought the
yeah.
movie was serviceable. But
Well, then, Matt,
yes,
are you finished?
I'm
Sorry, I didn't
finished.
mean to cut you
I'm
off.
done.
Okay.
It's good.
Um, let me see here. How many decapitated heads would you give this movie from 0 to 5?
Mm,
5 being the better
mm.
for decapitated heads.
The maximum number of decapitated heads is the best rating for the movie.
Yes.
Well, in the movie, I believe there are 7 actual decapitated heads
Mm,
and 1 cartoon animated decapitated head, which happens
mm-hmm.
on one of the broadcasts that's led into by the song that I love from the cartel. They also have their own animation studio where someone gets to decapitated in cartoon form. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give the cartel credit. Their offer is not that bad. I mean, yeah, they're strong arming their way into, the business, like trying to take over all these businesses or whatever. But what they offer is not so bad that they'll like triple your business and they ask for like what 20% or something like that. Like they've got connections in every government and stuff like that. If I was a drug dealer, I'm just saying, if I was a drug dealer and I got the decapitation video, and then I heard their pitch, and they were like, "This is what we can offer you." I probably would just sign up. They probably have me. I wouldn't. I don't think I'd fight them.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'll keep
Maybe that's
that in
why I'm
mind.
not a drug dealer, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Keep that in mind for the future if we ever meet any cartels along the way. Well, all that to say, I'm gonna give this 3 decapitated heads out of 5. So, I enjoyed it, and you didn't. So,
Yeah.
I would say if you don't mind watching an R-rated movie, because this is definitely that.
Yes.
And you're looking for a thriller, check it out.
I think I'm at a 1.8 is where I was at.
1.8. That's what you rated the last movie.
What was that?
The last movie? Yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wasn't too happy with yesterday either, so it all makes sense now.
Yes. Yes. Day.
Yeah, I like the rewind time ending thing. I just really bothers me. It's so stupid. There's just like for me, there just was way too much. Like I think it had a fine story, but it just kept adding to the story so much, and it became way too much. So, I like to think a lot of times, for me at least, less is more. So, they did not follow that rule for this movie at all. They were like, how much can we pack in here and get away with, I guess. I don't know. Apparently not as much as they wanted now that Uma Thurman was supposed to be in the movie, but got cut. So, yeah. Hashtag release the Savages Oliver Stone cut or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm sure lots of people will be clamoring for it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so you at a 1.8, me at a 3.0. That's gonna make our average 2.4 decapitated heads out of 5. So slightly below average. I guess you could skip it based on our overall rating. But if you got nothing else to do.
Yeah. Or if you're Team Todd or Team Matt, if you're Team Matt, then hey,
Check it out.
3.0. Get in on it. If you're Team Todd, though, I wouldn't steer you wrong. So
Right. But we're one team here at Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, and we end up with 2.4. So that's just how it is. So before we wrap up here, I will reveal to you, Todd, our next film that we'll be watching on Netflix.
let me grab my pen and paper here.
I'll be watching it in Ultra HD 4K.
Good for you.
Yeah. Doesn't really seem like this type of movie needs that, but sure.
All right, hit me. Or do you want to do a tagline and maybe I can guess it? I liked that last time.
Okay, we'll do that again. I don't think you can guess it unless you've been looking at the top 10 movies in the U.S. This is a new one. But the tagline is, after a best-selling novelist suffering from writer's block hires a new nanny for her children, the line between fiction and reality starts to blur.
Interesting. Is it a new Netflix movie?
It is.
Like, okay.
2021.
No idea.
Yeah, this movie is called Deadly Illusions.
Interesting.
Yes.
Anyone that we know in it?
I was just looking at that.
And I mean that we know personally.
Yes, it looks like you're in this, Todd. You never told
Oh,
me you
all
were in
right.
Deadly Illusions.
I've got a secret life that no one knows about.
I don't recognize any of these names unless Kristen Davis is someone I should recognize, but I don't really.
Doesn't sound familiar to me.
So looks like no, but it is in the thriller movies psychological thrillers category. So
Nice.
got that going for it.
Yeah. Well, sounds like a good time.
Yeah, we'll check it out. We'll report back. So that's going to wrap up this episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, where we reviewed the movie Savages from 2012, and we were pretty lukewarm about it in totality. But thank you for listening to our podcast. Please keep listening to all of our podcasts, and we'll keep making them. And we'll see you soon.
Da 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 da.
Da da
Da da
da
da.
da da.